I wasn't sure I wanted to review this because technically it's not very new. It actually came out in France in 2017 and has since come out here and there. Mostly at festivals though, and it's actually showing at a festival here soon too. But I don't believe it ever got an official international release. However, it is now finally available on both digital and international Blu-ray. And it's a French animated movie, but I watched it with the English voice acting. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed the voice acting in this. I thought they did a really great job. Mostly because of how well they delivered the comedy and how well they worked together. I also loved the art style and the animation, which has this watercolory pastel look to it. It's just fantastic in my opinion, and there's actually a little bit of a Studio Ghibli Easter egg in there too. For all of you like me who are fans of hand-drawn animation. It's not much, but it's there and I can't help but to appreciate small things like that. But when it comes to the story itself, well, this is actually a bit of an anthology. There are actually 3 different short stories in this, presented as 3 different plays, put on by these cartoon animals living in and around this farm. And there's not really any sort of strong through line between the stories. They seem to have some overlap, but overall they're not related. But they do have something in common. They're all sort of just light-hearted fun. And kind of funny too, without too much depth, and there doesn't seem to be much of a message either. I mean, fairy tales and children's stories tend to have some sort of message in them. Something kids can learn from whether they realize it or not. These though, I'm not so sure. I feel like they just went with a more light-hearted approach. With an emphasis on just telling a fun little story, nothing too heavy. Which is perfectly fine, but for adults or older children, there's not a ton to dig into here. That's not to say it's not an enjoyable movie to watch. It is, I really had no genuine issues with it. It's just sort of harmless and inoffensive, with a certain charm to it too, mostly coming from the humor and the characters. Because the humor in this can be sort of subtle at times too. There is stuff in there that's clearly aimed a little bit more at adults in that regard. And yeah, I found this to be a very enjoyable and pleasant watch. But as I said, I don't think there's a whole lot of depth, nuance or complexity here. And I really don't have that much to say about it beyond that. It's a perfectly decent family movie with a lovely art style and great animation that I think pretty much the entire family can enjoy no matter what their age. But I do think that had everything else stayed the same and they just told one long great story instead, this could have potentially been even better. However, that is just pure speculation and I do still think this definitely works as it is. And not every movie needs to follow the same formula either. There's nothing wrong with anthology movies, especially if the stories feel like they flow pretty seamlessly into each other, which these did. But how about it? Would I recommend this? Sure, why not? It's a pretty decent little movie. So maybe give it a look, or maybe don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.